Failed to import. Unknown extension cur. What in the fuck? Look at that piece of shit. Okay, so we need a dot cur. This is the worst cursor of all time. It's like this little autistic leaf. Jesus Christ. Okay, so what has to happen is we have a cooked directory with this thing in it. So let's toast this thing. And basically we have, let's just have cursor in here. We'll have default, we'll have this. So, okay. The hardware cursor will search for the platform specific, having slate in your directory. I need to, like, this needs to be cooked, right? So inside of packaging, we need directories to cook. Like, gameplay is cooked. Let's see, additional non-asset directories. Alright, so supposedly, in a shipping build, this should work. So why don't we disconnect from this guy and make a shipping build and see if it loads it. Hello, Jeff. Game nerf, game boost, Jeff, exit. Alright, very good. If the player's chef, only crawl. Oh man, sorry I haven't been reading these. They're gold. it just keeps sending ambient upset in chat. I mean, Adam's been complaining to me about not having the hardware cursor in there. So, nothing better than adding the most awful of all cursors. And I assume Photoshop can make .cur files. So, I'll leave that one to you to make a proper cursor. I just want to make sure this thing actually, works in a shipping build here before I declare it actually working. There's the first cursor you made. I don't know where that is. You'd have to let me know. But it needs to be a .cur file. So if you have a .cur file that you've already got done, let me know. Otherwise, I don't know how to make a .cur file. I don't have Photoshop. I'd have to go grab some software to do it. But I trust Photoshop to actually do that. So if you've already got it and can export a cur file, I can test it out. Otherwise, let me know where that cursor is, and maybe I can chuck it in some online tool to auto-convert it. It's in static widgets. Inside of, what, the UI folder? I mean, we've got this cursor, like the pointer up, down. Like, we're not going to have the click states, of course. We'd just have the, the hover, I guess, or up cursor. Let's see, this is also a 64 by 64, so that's not too bad. Let me just maybe chuck this in an online tool real quick. Oh man, even better. Sorry, Adam, I'm gonna have to override the cursor with something else for now. There we go. The best cursor of all time. We'll have the. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll have to zoom in then, because it's important. Alt F4. It's the best cursor. What are you talking about? There you go. There's your cursor. You can click on stuff with that all day. You know. I'm sure Jeff won't mind. Quits the internet. Delete System 32. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Alright. I'll import the actual cursor. I'm sorry, Adam. You had to experience that. I'm not sorry. Let's see. Let's upload this, download it, and see what it looks like. Alright. Let's download that cursor. So let's see what your other cursor looks like real quick. So it looks like that. So it's pretty big and bold. Like it definitely does its thing. You know, you can see it. It's got high contrast because it's got the white and black and shadow and everything. So if you're alright with that, we'll get it working. I just want to see if this works in a packed build. That's so dumb. The documentation should say it doesn't work if it's a UAsset. It has to be a raw file. If it's a texture, this thing won't work. Come on, people. It ain't that hard to come up with, you know, some sort of documentation that actually tells you that. Well, apparently it is. Apparently it's fucking impossible. Alright, there is no cursor showing up for pack build. So, why not? Okay, so what is this guy looking for? It's looking for, like, we supposedly have gameplay, additional asset directories to cook, directories to never cook, additional non-asset directories containing files and be copied when packaged into your project. I mean, why don't we just try gameplay slash UI? Or is it actually? It's gameplay UI. Alright. Additional non-asset directories to package. Directories containing files that should be added to the pack file if using a pack file system. Otherwise, they're copied as individual files. Alright, why don't I try adding non-asset directory gameplay slash UI. Get rid of that. Because it may be that's what we need to do, because it's not recognizing this asset as being here. So the other thing would be if we can manually copy the cursor file into something like, you know, gameplay UI. No, it's not doing jack, so it's probably that it needs to be packed in the pack file for it to work. Get a call from an HP tech who is coming out to work today to repair a laptop. I get a call saying the address for the Auckland branch here in Christchurch, and now it'll be fixed on Monday. The stupid thing being is that they already had my information on log, and I specified the work address when I created the case. Wait, so what? Somebody is you're trying to fix something, or somebody wants you to fix something, or they're trying to come out to your place, and you're like, no, our office is over in this other place, so you're gonna have to like drive. It's like, oh, you mean the Albertsons by my house or something? And you're like, no, the Albertsons by my house. Well, that's a clear cross town. I ain't fucking going over there. Stupid ass grocery stores. I mean, that looks like additional non-asset directories to package. Should be okay. User interface, gameplay, UI, cursor. We'll see. Hardware cursor will search for platform-specific formats first if you want to take advantage of it. Specify the partial path. Because there's not a universal multi-format for cursors, the pattern we look for. And all patterns where PMGs are first found instead of cur and TIFF. It sounds like a half-implemented feature. Only in the wrong place in the wrong city. Fuck. Yeah, he's like, I'm ready for work. He'd be like, yeah, dude, you got hired in the London office. I'm like, oh shit, but I just bought a house. Like, yeah, man, we don't. That's not my problem. Shit. I really don't know. Like, the documentation here doesn't fucking exist. Holy shit. Okay, it just needed to be packaged in there. So let me just, let's make sure it works. So I don't click anywhere. The UI comes up. I click in the window. Nothing works. But if I mouse in and out, it does. So, okay, what is this? Let's see, it's going to be hardware cursor doesn't work until mouse over. Unreal. Yeah, it's like set hardware cursor doesn't always work. Ah, come on. I saw this earlier. Do I get this in the editor? So if I hit play, it's just right here. Alright, I do get it in the editor at least. So what I should do is, I think it's called show hardware cursor in our viewport. Okay, so set hardware cursor is something so that we can actually call. So let's just see if we can set it. So e mouse cursor type default, and then the F name. So let's just call this in tick real quick, and we'll see what we can do with it. Because the thing here is, if I can set the hardware cursor by path here, we can actually do at least a kind of a click state. We can change it between, at least two versions. Maybe not an overstate for buttons, but we can at least have a kind of a pressed state. Or I could have a pressed state and a other one. So set hardware cursor is on here. So let's go to game viewport client.cpp. And let's go to set hardware cursor. Find ref hardware cursor cache. Hardware cursors add, mouse over client, get platform cursors, set type shape, return true, return false. So it might be this mouse over client is wrong or something, and I can take a look at it. But we'll at least be able to check out if this works or not. But it's something, at least making progress. Don't worry, Jeff. You're gonna have plenty of time this weekend, hopefully, to play the update that is coming out. We'll see if it's today, tomorrow, or the day after, or something. I know Adam has some work I think he wants to do on the caverns, and we got to do some testing on the caverns, make sure it actually works. We haven't really gotten to that yet, so I wouldn't 100% say tomorrow. But this weekend is looking real good for getting that new level out there, which is going to be awesome. New levels are always fun. Alright, so we are clicked into this guy. Let's see if he actually switches the cursor on us. Nope. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this guy here because there's no way for us to actually test this with a breakpoint because reasons. Look forward to breaking it? Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to find plenty of bugs. Yeah, and if we got the new music's always good. And if the music doesn't come in on time, we can always push a hotfix for the music. That would be pretty low risk. But that's kind of one of those things that if you got a new level and new music, people have been very positive on that. Alright, so let's go look in this. This is going to create an F name for this thing. We're going to go in, the hardware cursor is valid. We're going to add it to our hardware cursors, but our mouse is not over the client. So that, let's do a force for that. Let's just say true. Just like, no, the mouse is over us. Hijack it. Which bugs are you talking about, Jeff? The feature that you can spawn 1,000 bots and make the servers not playable? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I put a hard limit of 30 bots in there. You can't have more than that. Also, bots aren't going to be taking player slots anymore, so you can spawn up to 30 bots and up to 6 people can join. So it'll work like that. Also, we've got some optimizations in there. Let's see. Can I access private member declared in whatever? The viewport client? Well, guess what? Your privates are not privates anymore, sir. They're now the opposite of privates. They're publics. So, get wrecked, fool. We don't have to take your shit, Unreal. Because they have this unresolved. And it's like, just set the fucking cursor. It's not hard. Just have a thing there that says force. And just set it to true and be like, you set the damn cursor, son. Well, I gotta recompile stuff at least. Yeah, I'm gonna be working on the bot modes here once I get the cursor done. Let me look at my list. I have custom cursor. I have custom cursor and then a loading screen and then bots. What I'd like to do is get a loading screen for this game at the beginning. So right now, when we pop open the game, it's a black screen. I'd like this to be something that says, like, please wait. You know, some real dumb, stupid, simple, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to exist. The other thing that would be kind of nice is if... oh, geez, I got to compile... alright. Let's just... Alright, so let's just read this real quick. I'm having trouble to create an initial loading screen for my project. Without loading screen, the project takes a bit for loading and blah blah blah. What I've done, create a blank map. So what? Project maps and modes. Transition is loading. Create your own game instance class and implement the init event. This will let you create a loading widget without waiting for the map to load. To create an animated loading screen, add a throbber, hide it, then use event tick to cycle through the textures you wish to animate. What? So I can make a widget? Is that what it's saying? So make a widget and throw it on the viewport? Please leave the public privates alone, otherwise you'll be sent to the garbage collector. Eh, eh. I'm not super enthused by some of this. So, what I might be able to do is make the game instance that I got. The game instance that I have, I'll make a blueprint. Inside of the blueprint, I can reference UMG widgets a lot easier. So maybe I can do that in it. So I'll make a game instance that derives from the game instance otherwise, because I don't know how to reference UMG widgets from inside of C++ land with beans. Let me just do it. Create UMG widget from C++. Create widget in pure C++. Class, user widget, native constructors, add to viewport, add a button. Oh my god, that's awful. Even though I proved that Shohei is wrong, he used a widget blueprint and not pure C++. Blah, 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 blah. I hate my life. Blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Fucking Christ, people on the internet. Oh man, this is gonna take a little while to build. Well, where do we want to put this set hardware cursor anyway? We want to put it on init. So if we go to our Dashkin viewport client, come on Visual Studio. I know you're... Jesus Christ. Stop it, Visual Studio. What we're going to want is kind of a set hardware cursor sort of thing. Gotta get itchy around my headphones. Okay, so I'm going to do void set cursor, set mouse cursor. And that's gonna we're gonna do this guy. And what we're going to do here is inside of our init for our game mode, right? That's what we want. Is there a begin play on this viewport client? What is a UGame viewport client? A UGame viewport client is a U object based off of some bullshit activated. When is activated called? Graphics, lock mouse. Alright, so why don't we just call set mouse cursor inside of activated. And let's see, receive focus would be a good one to call set mouse cursor on. Input access, input char, mouse enter, mouse leave, draw, blah, 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 simulate, hook, crap. Let's go to our game instance. Where do we make the HUD? So we do graphics utils, platform manager. Where's our UI? UI events. Do we have a begin play for the UI? We have setup. Where's setup called? It's probably in that game instance. I'm not sure where it's called. It is here, so if HUD is there, okay, so set mouse cursor is going to be called here, so we're good to go here. All right. Don't worry, we only got 800 more units to compile. That means the shipping build is going to have to recompile all that trash too. Fuck. Let's make a loading screen. Let's make a loading screen. It's going to be 800 by 600. And this is going to be, of course, the best load screen of all time because that's the only sort of load screen I make. I mean, that is the best load screen of all time, right? Like that, the 3 dots. I mean, I should just use that. Just, welcome to a game made by Adam Phillips, master animator extraordinaire. ... You son of a bitch. You used that shitty loading screen, didn't you? So it would basically be inside of this activated. I'll have to see. How exactly all these functions are called and where I can do things. I'll have to build that when it's finished. Because I just want the initial one. The rest of them, we can just have the frozen dude. This is just a quick and dirty. I'd like an initial game loading screen so people don't think that the black screen at startup is somehow broken. It's just like, no, 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 it's loading the level, it's doing a thing, just let it do its thing, you know, it'll be fine. There is no cause for concern. And the reason the initial load right now is taking as much time as it is because of texture streaming. Otherwise, it would be faster. Supposedly. We'll see. Alright. Well, we just gotta wait for this to build. And it's using all my CPU, so... Gar. Wonder if we should put any other Easter eggs in the game. Like, one funny one would be to... Like, if you start dancing, they run over and dance with you. Something like that. Wonder if we should do a little bit more of that. You should download more CPU. I've been downloading more CPU for the last... well, I haven't. I'm lying. It's a good idea. It's a good idea, Jeff. I'm gonna get on that. Let me download more CPU. Free processor speed upgrade. Download more gigahertz.com. Why spend hundreds of dollars on expensive hardware upgrades when the key to more performance is found in software? Oh my god, over the internet. Hell yeah. CPUs themselves are nothing more than a silicon wafer, home to millions and billions of microscopic transistors. These are like switches. So what does that have to do with downloadmoregigahertz.com? When you click on it on the upgrade page, our server first queries your computer to determine which model it is. It looks at the enormous database of optimized microcodes and downloads the correct version. This microcode contains many optimizations. Oh man, the microcode on your CPU is updated, providing fast, free performance. Oh shit, I want more megahertz. Download more megahertz. Click the gut button to begin the upgrade. What a horse shit. Oh man, I need more megahertz. It's like, we're on the gigahertz level, dudes. It's like, nah, you don't understand. This is about people that thought megahertz were, that's all you need. How about terahertz? If only. It's like, they're just making up, they should just start fucking making up words at that time. Or at that point, like, just, they're trying to describe transistors as switches. Well, you see, there's these things called transistors. And your CPU is just a silicon wafer. I mean, really, let's just boil it down. At the end of the day, your computer's just a piece of plastic and metal. Download some, yeah, exactly. Like, I'll download some more RAM. I'll get some virtual memory. Because virtual memory is the same thing as physical memory. It's still just memory. And according to some people, we're living in a simulation anyway, so you can just download some extra sims. That'll be fine. Just make sure to run this bat file as root. Yeah, right-click on it on the bat file and run as administrator. That's how you know you're going to get the most performance out of the upgrade that we're going to give you. And we'll make sure that you keep getting that upgrade as long as you keep sending us $19.95 per month. Guaranteed to work. Yeah. That was one of the things I remember. We had Macintosh computers when I was in elementary school, and you could play The Incredible Machine on it, which is the best game of all time if you're 10 years old. And, well, actually, the best game of all time when I was 10 years old was StarCraft 1. So this Macintosh computer, because I knew how to do computer things, right? This is before schools locked down computers and didn't run crap. And so what I did is I went and I was like, we need more memory for this Macintosh computer. So I just went and like completely fucked with all the virtual memory settings on this old ass. It was a modern machine at that point. It was like a G4 or some crap, which was like, oh my god, it's a G4. And I just like increased the virtual memory, and it's like I was real proud of it. Went to the teacher. I was like, oh man, I just gave us like another ridiculous amount of memory on these machines. And she's like, oh, good job, and then the machine just performed like a pile of crap after that. Because it was using the hard drive as RAM, right? Because that's how virtual memory works. So it went from, being able to run nicely to like being just the worst computer on the planet. And we got new computers after that. Well, nobody knew how to fix it. Also, I don't know if anybody remembers the days where we had zip disks and crap like that. Like those were awesome. We had all these zip drives in the library, and I used them to install on all the library computers all of my completely legal Super Nintendos. So everybody could play completely legal Super Nintendo games on our library computers. That was cool. And of course back then, like, completely legal Super Nintendos didn't have the proper channels for everything rendered. So to play certain games, you had to enable and disable graphic layers on the completely legal Super Nintendo. So that was fun. Except before I learned that you could disable the layers, I just thought it was normal. So when playing Chrono Trigger on my completely legal Super Nintendo, in the future world, they have that nice like scrolling fuzz on everything. That just rendered on top with no transparency, so you couldn't see shit in the future world, except for when you moved over something, the UI layer would display on top of it. So if you ran into something, you could figure it out. I beat the game without being able to see what the hell I was doing. I don't know how I did it, but I somehow did. Network trash folder. Yeah. Ah, see, there's our mouse cursor. That wasn't so hard, now was it? Excellent. Okay, so in our project settings, maps and modes, where is our HUD class pawn? Where is our game instance? Here it is, BP Dashkin game instance. So I already have a blueprint game instance created. So let's go to our event graph. Let's add an event for init. How do we call super function blueprint? Call super blueprint. Can I call super in an extended blueprint? You can override an event or function. You can then right click on that event or function entry node and option to call super. So right click on this. Alright, what? You can right click on the event or function entry node and an option to call super will show up there. You can pick this, right click. I don't see anything. Add call to parent function. Oh, there we are. Okay. So parent.init. Okay. What we want to do is we want to add a loading screen to this guy. So I've got my amazing loading screen here. We've already saved it. We're going to import that into our UI directory here. What's it called? Initial load? Alright. It starts with a fucking I, thank you very much. Where did I save that? Dashkin import initial load.png. There it is. So let's drag it in and let's make a UMG widget here. UI initial load. Alright, so I need a scale box. Let's see, we want the image size to be Yeah, okay, so it needs to be 800 by 600, and the size of this scale box needs to be the same size as this guy. So that's 1650. No, that's the offset. Sorry. The offset right and bottom needs to be 0 to scale this guy. What do we do for our other widget? Like cutscene, widget, crap.